Welcome to Smoke Signals, everyone. Sponsored by All Smiles Dentistry. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach and AD Wayne Coleman. Coach, great win last week over Hallsville. District play started, and not a better way to start district than to get a big win like that one.
No doubt. You always want to get started early in the district race, try to get a win under your belt, and kids played well enough to get that done.
On the road, cool weather, all the makeup of three tough games. Boy, you kids came out and executed really well. No turnovers.
Yeah, and that was the key to the game. We thought it was going in. Two teams, pretty even teams. Turnovers usually can decide the difference.
You know, when coaches talk about we're going to try to fix these things during the bye week, you guys look like y'all just really fixed a lot of things. I mean, the execution of the offense, the tackling was much better. You capitalized on turnovers. You had some things that happened that could have gone the other way, but you stopped that from happening. Just overall, just a really well-played game.
Yeah, I think, playing the three tough games we played enabled us to not panic in that game. We've been in some bad situations in the first three games, and our kids didn't flinch whenever Hallsville tried to make their comeback. Our kids stayed focused.
You know, one of the things that we talked about early in the season was, of course, a new offensive coordinator, different lingo, trying to bring different things to the table. You said that that's what the non-district games are for, is to see can we do some of these things. But you decided to go into the Hallsville game and you simplified things a little bit, and that sure paid off.
Yeah, we had 3 games to look at a lot of volume on offense and find the things that we thought we were good at, and then really hone in on those things for this game.
Ran the ball really well. We'll see in some highlights in a moment. Just controlled the football. And even though Hallsville had just a little bit more time of possession, it just felt like you guys controlled the tempo of the game.
Yeah, when you're scoring pretty much on every possession, it's a good feeling, and it feels like you can call whatever you want to call. And then we moved some personnel around and let some other kids carry the ball out of the backfield, and so that made a difference.
Well, when you score 59 points, there's always a lot of highlights. Let's take a look at those right now. Jacksonville versus Hallsville. Of course, here's the big hit by Sergio and causing the fumble, and Casey Avery picks it up.
Yeah, early turnover in the game, and really key to getting momentum going.
Just a couple of plays later, Patrick hits Devin, and watch Devin just turn it on.
That was like a 3rd down and 10 play, and that was big for us, keeping the drive alive.
Here's Patrick to Dontrell Rivers, to
Latrell.
Latrell Rivers, that's his brother. I gotta get that down. Here's a big run here by McEwen for 43.
He does a good job of finding the hole and weaving in and out and making people miss.
After Hallsville's onside attempt, you got it and take advantage of it. And here's McEwen with a monster catch.
Great catch, decent coverage. Patrick dropped a dime on him right there.
And here's the 97-yarder. We almost could have called that a 98, but we'll call it 97. Isaiah Mallard, the junior.
Just some, it's a great run, but there were a lot of great blocks on that play.
Yeah, look at this one here. Just kind of chipped it.
Great effort there by all of our kids.
Here comes outside linebacker Jamarius Hart. This is what you put him back here for.
This is why Hart got moved to outside backer, to make big plays. He made the move from D-line to outside backer, and it's paid off.
What a physical hit right there on Devin McEwen. That got the sidelines fired up right there. Just a clean football hit. And, of course, Jacksonville wins at 59-44, Coach. And looking at the statistics here, somebody might look at this and say, if you just took the score off there and say, well, Hallsville should win the game, time of possession, more yards, yada, yada, turnovers.
Yeah, turnovers. And that's been one of our Achilles heels the first 3 games. And you got to learn from your mistakes and improve on your weaknesses, and our kids did a good job of taking care of the football.
You said last week here that non-district's over, everybody has the same record, all those things that coaches say right before district starts. And, you win a game like that, and you feel like, it feels fresh, it feels new, and you're 1-0 in district.
Yeah, there was 8 teams playing in the district Friday night. There was going to be 4 winners, and it feels great to be one of those.
Well, Marshall's coming in. They're smarting after a loss to Pine Tree, 24-7. That turned a lot of heads. But a little deceptive in that score because we know what Marshall did. They turned the ball over. But this is no doubt a good Marshall football team. They just got a little bit ahead of themselves last week.
They did, and when you win as much as Marshall does, and they had a pretty good win streak going against Pine Tree. It might be human nature to let your guard down, and but this is a great Pine Tree team this year. This team they've been looking forward to for 3 or 4 years. This senior class is really good over there. The Marshall kids are going to come in here fired up, so we've got to be ready for their best test.
Well, you got them at home at Tomato Bowl, and since 2004, Jacksonville and Marshall have split. It's six games. I don't know if history means anything, but the history is Marshall. They won last year at Tomato Bowl, but they don't play as well at Tomato Bowl, and so you got some things like there historically to look at, but. This is, like you said, this is a fast football team. A little bit different look for them at quarterback. Not the athletic kid, good passer, but just had the speed that, of course, the kid they had last year went to Arkansas. I mean, he's just a player. Yeah,
they've gone from having the incredible athlete at quarterback to having the great pocket passer. This kid really stays cool, composed in the pocket, and delivers the football. And of course, they've always got good receivers at Marshall. So. We've got to do a good job of trying to keep those receivers under wraps and try to put some pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, and you saw that Hallsville's quarterback, 6'3", 220, whatever he was. I mean, he's going to be kind of a similar kid like that as far as staying in the pocket, not being a runner.
Yeah, exactly. A very similar pocket passer type kid. They've just got a little better athletes out there at wide receiver.
Coach, you really had some contributors. You said you moved around some people last week. I mean, Dominic Hinojosa had 76 yards rushing. Of course, Devin McEwen, the sophomore, 8 catches, 5 carries. Patrick had a monster game against Hallsville. What do you see Marshall coming in after seeing those kind of stats from those young men and saying, wow, I mean, these are not this isn't what we saw in the first 3 games out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think, from their point of view, you've got to try to take away the most explosive players, so they're going to look for ways to take McEwen away, I would think. And that means the other guys have got to step up. And, Rivers had a great touchdown catch and made some plays. Tony Pinson had a catch the other night. We're still working on ways. We've got another 1 or 2 kids that we're still trying to get the ball to.
Yeah, you targeted 8 players last week.
Yeah, and we've got to keep doing that. We've got to keep spreading the ball around and can't be caught on a Friday night where, they took this player away from us or that player. We've got enough players to spread the ball around.
And I want to talk about Thad Black's offensive line. They really got a good push against Hallsville last week. This week, a little bit different with Marshall probably being more physical on that defensive front.
Yeah, these guys, they're going to bring in some 300-pounders, and it's going to be a real challenge for the O-line. Our pass protection was good the other night. We've got to keep that up, and we've got to kind of mix it up and try to keep them off balance.
And once again, obviously, I mean, we talk about it each week. You started the first 3 games in non-district, so many turnovers last week, not any. And obviously that hurt Marshall last week against Pine Tree. It's going to be a key, always is, but it just feels like it's more focused with your football team. When you don't turn the ball over, look at the results.
Yeah, I don't know if people remember, back to our 15 and 16 or our 16 and 17 playoff teams. We were a turnover machine. Our defense really did a great job of taking the ball away on those teams, and that's something we've got to get back to. And it's a game changer. It really does make a difference in the game. And I don't want to forget the fact how well our kicking game has come along in the last couple games. And
Jose Solano's been tremendous.
Solano and Sergio are doing a great job in the kicking duties, and we've really stepped it up there. And you throw in the kickoff return, so we're doing some good stuff there too.
And your coverage has really improved since the first week too.
Yeah, the kids have really bought into the importance of special teams.
Offensively, Marshall, you mentioned the pocket passer, very, very, very precise. They run the ball well. They got a really good running back.
Yeah, they've got 7 at running back. They've got 11 out wide at receiver. Those guys can really go, and we've got to focus a lot of our defensive attention to stopping those people.
Talk about your defensive scheme a little bit. We were visiting about that, and of course, Bryson Tatum. We call his name so much Friday nights. But the reason that we call his name so much Friday nights is because what your defensive front's doing.
Yeah, and most people don't know this, but the defensive line usually have an assignment of control a gap or try to take out 2 blockers so that the linebackers run free. And so when we're seeing Bryson make all these plays, he's a great athlete and a great tackler. But that starts up front with guys like Cleaver, who is the best spiller I've maybe ever had on my football team. The kid, he can squeeze a down block and spill automatically. He must do it in his sleep at night. So those are the kind of things that we've got to get all of our kids to buy into.
Coach, talk about what Marshall will do defensively against your offense. What do they run? How do they get to the football? They're always fast.
Yeah, they'll play a 3-4 and a 4 down. It looks like they've been playing the 3-4 against no tight end spread teams, and they'd like to play the 4 down against a tight end team. And Pine Tree used a tight end every snap the other night, so they were 4 down a lot. So we've got to be prepared for both of them, and their linebackers can really run. They've got their own Bryson Tatums that can really run sideline to sideline. And so the speed factor is going to be a little different this Friday night than it was last Friday night. We're not going to be able to get the edge on them like we did last week.
Coach, talk about the keys to the game for Jacksonville to get the win.
I think we've just got to keep improving. I'm not going to use the old cliche turnovers. I'm going to say that we've got to improve on our defensive run fits, and we've got to keep improving offensively on execution. We did a really good job of throwing and catching and maintaining blocks in the run game the other night. And Hinojosa, his vision was incredible last night on the inside runs. And we've got to keep them honest on the defensive side of the ball, make them defending, the spread pass game and the inside run game.
Emotionally, Coach, that win, I know practice had to be much better this week.
Yeah, it was. Our kids are pretty resilient. They show up with a business-like attitude pretty much every day. It was a little chilly and wet out there this morning on practice, but it took them after about 15 minutes they got going. We had a good workout. So, yeah, it's nice to win. Saturday's video sessions were more fun watching the game. Monday morning workout in the weight room was a little better because of the win. And don't kid yourselves, everybody wants to win, but the thing I like most about our kids is win or lose, they show up to go to work.
So it's Jacksonville versus Marshall back at Tomato Bowl Friday night. We'll be on the air at 6:45 on JHS-sports.com. You can find us on our YouTube channel. In fact, that's the best way to listen and stream the game live. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signal.